Eddie Kingston, the AEW Triple Crown Champion, wants 8 million people watching Dynamite, but unfortunately for him, there's more chance of him eating 8 million cheeseburgers on Dynamite than there is viewers tuning in. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, and 8 million people, that's the number, that's what Eddie Kingston wants. He wants wrestling to go back to the glory days, he wants to go back to the Attitude Era, and he wants to be the man behind it all. He wants to drag 8 million people in front of their television screens to watch this fat, lazy, out-of-shape bum pretend to be a professional wrestler every Wednesday night on Dynamite, or every Friday night on Rampage, or every Saturday night on Collision, or whatever other nights AEW have their shitty little shows that aren't televised. But this is what Eddie Kingston said on the Battleground podcast about wanting to see the popularity in wrestling grow. He says, quote, "I'd rather be busy than not. The way I look at it, when I'm getting asked to do interviews, or I'm in the ring wrestling every week, or every couple of weeks, it means I'm doing good at my job. If they don't ask for an interview with me, I guess I'm not as over as everyone says I am. Ortiz and my girl like to bust my balls if I get recognised at the airport or something. It's one person. I have a vision in my mind of what over is. And that's guys like Terry Funk, the Rock and Roll Express, Steve Austin, Hogan, Kevin Nash, the Attitude Era, 90s era. To me, that's over. When I start not being able to walk through an airport and I have to get a private jet, then I'll tell you, with no humility, that I'm over. Until then, I'm not over. If me winning a championship means more people watch pro wrestling, especially AEW, then I'm all about it. There's this YouTube channel, Reliving the War. I see the numbers WCW and WWF did. 3 something, 4 something, 5 something, that's what I want. Of course, I want that for AEW first. Everybody can eat, but my people have to eat first. I just want pro wrestling to get back to that. I hope everyone enjoys AEW, New Japan, WWE, the independents. I just want pro wrestling to be back where it was when there were 8 million people or something watching. Thank you to everyone who does watch. Thank you to everyone who hates on it, because it still watches and because you're still watching. End of quote. So there you go. There's the Triple Crown Champion, Eddie Kingston. He wants 8 million people back watching professional wrestling. And he says that if him winning a championship means more people are watching pro wrestling, especially AEW, then he is all about it. I mean, a newsflash, no one is watching for Eddie Kingston, and no one is watching because Eddie Kingston is winning a championship that doesn't mean shit. We've got a wrestler that doesn't mean shit and doesn't do shit and doesn't draw shit, winning a bunch of championships that don't do shit and don't mean shit and have no prestige and have no value. So how's that going to draw people? How does Eddie Kingston think that him being a Triple Crown champion is going to make money? How does he think that's going to bring people to AEW Dynamite? It doesn't. But this guy is so full of himself. He came out the other day and he says that he doesn't give advice to just anybody. He only gives advice to people that he thinks will appreciate it, and people that he thinks are deserving of it. And who's this guy, honestly? Who is this guy to decide whether he is the go-to guy, whether people deserve advice from him? I mean, this guy's a nobody. If you're an AEW, why would you ask this guy for advice? Why not someone like Edge? Why not someone like Christian Cage? Why not even someone like Daniel Bryan, who's been in WWE, who's headlined WrestleMania? Why would you ask some big fat bum called Eddie Kingston, who never really made any money until Tony Khan got his daddy's checkbook out and started dishing out big contracts? Why would you ask this guy anything? What's he achieved? Who knows him? In terms of a mainstream audience, nobody knows this guy. He's known by a hardcore AEW crowd, and that's it. Outside of AEW, outside of some stupid fucking indie show or Ring of Honor, nobody knows Eddie Kingston, nobody wants to know Eddie Kingston, and nobody will ever know Eddie Kingston. This guy is not bringing wrestling back to the Attitude Era. This guy is not bringing 8 million people back to the television screen. Unfortunately, there's nobody right now that is doing that, and this guy is probably one of the furthest away from doing it. So keep dreaming, Eddie Kingston. Keep thinking about what's over. Keep thinking about what it's going to take to bring in more viewers. But it's certainly not you. Certainly not Eddie Kingston. It's certainly not anything happening on AEW. W. So let's see what happens with Eddie Kingston in his Triple Crown Championship. Let's see if he can bring in the Fuhrers. Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on Eddie Kingston. Are you a Kingston fan? Do you dislike Kingston? I find him obnoxious. He's always, he believes he's a lot better than he is, and he's not even good. You know, this isn't a guy that is good but thinks he's great. This is a guy that's dog shit but thinks he's amazing. And he's really fucking not. He's so lucky to have a job. He's so sloppy. He looks like a meth head. You know, you typical trailer park junkie. It's Eddie Kingston. I think this is like a New York thing. No offense to people from New York, but a lot of people seem to have that sort of attitude where they think they're like God's gift in New York, but they're actually not. And yeah, Eddie Kingston, for me, is right up that alley. Anyway, guys, leave a like, leave a comment. Even if you're from New York, leave a like. It's nothing personal. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, though, been Fog Wrestling. Thanks for watching, and peace.